Marcus Aurelius is a legendary historical person who is regarded as the world's ultimate power symbol. In addition to his status, he was notable for his deep philosophical ideas, rigid moral life, and dedication to ideals. In contrast to other Roman emperors, he disapproved of ostentatious and opulent pleasures, such as costly feasts laden with alcohol and gory performances at the Colosseum. With this mindset, he considered his job to serve humanity as a noble task bestowed by fate. Marcus Aurelius refused to let fleeting pleasures from this world interfere with his determination to fulfill his life's goal. Being able to discern between what we can control and what is out of our control is one of the Stoic philosophy's corporate symbols. One of this school's greatest thinkers, Epictetus, made this idea quite plain in his handbook. With the exception of our acts, most events are out of our control. This consciousness is profound as well as obvious. Use this idea to provide a fresh viewpoint on the world and our interactions with it. The Stoic school of thought does not advocate for total disengagement from society. Rather, it pushes us to acknowledge and be cognizant of our limitations. They contend that concentrating on factors outside of our control merely adds needless stress. Suffering is frequently the result of our over-anxious attention to external factors that are beyond our control. Should we persist in allowing other forces to govern us, we shall eventually turn into pawns in the game of fate. Although we willingly gave them that power, we frequently place the blame on those in positions of influence over us. We shall achieve true inner peace when we cease being influenced by outside forces and stop giving them any attention. Marcus Aurelius. His capacity to stay calm in the face of uncontrollable circumstances enabled him to handle the many duties and difficulties that came with being an emperor. He could concentrate on the work. He thought he had been chosen by the gods. For Epictetus, being free from outside influences could allow him to focus on important objectives. For others, it might be a route to a happy and worry-free existence. What should we give up caring about when life gets difficult? And how should we approach it? This movie offers a free analysis and discussion of Marcus Aurelius's philosophy of letting go of material concerns during his meditations. Multiple times, Marcus Aurelius makes a distinction between the past, present, and future. The ancient Roman emperor provides insightful explanations of how we care about people too much, incorrectly, or for the wrong reasons in each category. Let's start with the future to ensure organization and clarity. We suffer more in our imaginations than in reality, as Seneca famously observed. This suggests that the reason we suffer is because of the thoughts we have about the future. When it comes to the future, our imaginations often go wild and conjure up a plethora of possibilities, the majority of which are unlikely to come to pass. In situations like this, we wonder how to handle potential consequences and shake at the thought of not knowing how our lives will turn out or how the future would develop. The events that transpire match our predictions, but in a great deal of other situations, we are caught off guard by unforeseen circumstances that overwhelm us, for better or worse. According to Marcus Aurelius, the weight that is pushing on us in the moment is what burdens us, not the weight of the future. The way we handle things in the here and now is what will hurt us, not the future. Every future-related suffering occurs in the here and now. It's interesting to note that the future isn't actually happening in the present because when we obsess about what might happen in the future, life progressively gets worse as we live through it in our minds, letting the future dictate the present. What then did Marcus Aurelius have to say about obsessing about the future? Let's start by thinking about this quote. Don't ever allow the future to worry you. If it is necessary, you will face it, using the same rational tools that you use to defend yourself from the present. He made the observation that you can manage the future if you can manage the present. He counseled against picturing every horrible scenario that might occur. But to accept the circumstances you find yourself in right now, he could bear it when he brought his attention back to the here and now. So why was he unable to handle what was about to happen? This mindset is comparable to the idea of being overly obese, the understanding and acceptance of fate supported by the knowledge that, if you can get through it now, you can handle it later. He told himself not to think about all the worst-case scenarios. Rather, he concentrated on how he might control the situation he was in at the time. It was then that he realized he could bear it. If that's the case, why was he unable to handle what was ahead? This viewpoint is comparable to that of amore fati, or the love of one's own destiny, but it is based on the notion that you can overcome obstacles if you can bear them. Marcus Aurelius understood that life is ephemeral and soon vanishes into the wide world that lies beyond our reach. Like the future, the past exists in a world outside of our control. The done is the done. We also cannot alter it unless we create a time machine. Remember that man lives only in the present, stated Marcus Aurelius. All of his existence beyond this little moment is either unknown or has already passed. He therefore counsels us to view the past as irrelevant and meaningless in the here and now. It's not that the past has no bearing on the present or that we are incapable of drawing lessons from it. We are unable to change the past. It's out of our grasp. Our recollections of the past are frequently hazy, making it challenging to confirm the details of what actually transpired because of varying viewpoints and personal memories. But we still care about the past. We frequently repeat the incidents in our thoughts and feel the suffering they brought. Some people might think that we can exert some influence on the past by reflecting on it. However, that is a delusion. We are left with only the thoughts of what has vanished and will never come back. The past is no more. Many individuals say, "I wish I had done that differently," yet their wishes are unrealistic. These thoughts are useless because they arouse unsatisfied cravings that can never be met. Marcus Aurelius focuses on his responses to past events rather than the events themselves. Events in the past are beyond our control, and it's highly probable that they will also be out of our control in the present. But we have power over how we respond to these occurrences. At first, we can think of the past as bad circumstances. We might have gone through a trying upbringing full of obstacles and sufferings, or we might have seen significant relationships that we believed would last a lifetime come to an end. It may also be business ventures that were eventually unsuccessful initiatives that we had high hopes for. But the past is more than just a string of regrettable incidents. It's also a part of our story. The challenges and setbacks of the past can aid in our self-awareness, deepen our exploration of our boundaries, and help us devise strategies for overcoming them. They may turn into priceless lessons that strengthen us and increase our capacity to handle difficulties in the future. Think of the past as an integral element of your life, but not the only factor influencing it. It serves as motivation for you to advance and create a better future. Keep the past out of your mind when making decisions. Make use of it to grow stronger and more self-assured in order to tackle future obstacles. However, Marcus Aurelius does not think much of the substance of these incidents. How he handles them is what counts. He asks whether something that doesn't go against the core of human nature can really be considered unfortunate. Is something bad if it doesn't go against the core of what makes people human? Or do you believe that something can go against nature's will even when it doesn't? Are you aware of nature's will? Because of what has transpired, you are unable to act fairly prosperous. Self-restrained, appropriately decided, sincere, modest traits that let your actual self come through. The importance of the past is not completely disregarded by Marcus Aurelius. Using history as a guide, he observes how things develop and recur in cycles. When it comes to the future, our imagination frequently runs wild, conjuring up a plethora of possibilities that may or may not come to pass. we first consider how to respond to such situations while shaking with terror of what might occur in our life or the future. Sometimes our predictions come true exactly as expected. In a great deal of other situations, fate takes us by surprise with outcomes that we weren't expecting, whether good or bad. Some people have spent a great deal of time and energy planning for their dream retirement. However, things don't always go as planned in life. Thus, these plans might not come to pass. We shouldn't give up, though. Alternatively, we can become more flexible and modify our goals as needed to make retirement fulfilling and exciting. The prospect of receiving a late-stage cancer diagnosis on the eve of one's prime years, along with only a few months to live, causes anxiety and a never-ending cycle of weighing the pros and drawbacks. What happens if there is a third world war? What happens if I am broke? While such negative consequences are conceivable, should we be concerned about them beforehand, as Seneca advised? We worry about the future because we contemplate it. It exists only in our imaginations. In the case that you were diagnosed with a terminal cancer, what would keep you from embracing each day of your brief life and living it to the fullest? No matter what you're going through, get up and hold your head high, whether it's important or not. Put on your best attire, your best shoes, and make memories that people will talk about long after you're gone. Marcus Aurelius concentrates on how he responds to things. We might not be able to control events that occur in the present as well as those that occurred in the past, but we have power over how we respond to these occurrences. At first, we might view the past as a regrettable circumstance. We can have experienced a challenging upbringing, the breakup of a friendship, or unsuccessful business ventures. However, Marcus Aurelius does not think much of the substance of these incidents. How he handles them is what counts. He asked if something that doesn't go against the core of human nature qualifies as a true disaster. Is anything not a disaster if it does not go against the core of human nature? Or do you believe that something can be violated that does not go against nature's will? What is nature's will, do you know? Have the happenings stopped you from acting in a way that reflects justice, generosity, self-control, wise judgment, honesty, humility, and authenticity? Attributes that support the growth of your true nature. It's interesting to note that Marcus Aurelius did not entirely discount the importance of history. He looked to the past as a guide, noting how things happened and recurred in cycles throughout history. Future developments can be deduced. We now find ourselves in the present. Marcus Aurelius understood that life is only experienced in the present. It is a small field that is within our grasp. The past and the future, however, are quite far beyond our realm of influence. The remainder of our lives have either passed away or are still unknown, leaving only the instant that we are in the present. That being said, we frequently overlook the here and now. We grow unsatisfied with the way life is playing out at the time, maybe because our desires aren't being fulfilled or because things aren't going as planned. At this point, the current moment turns into a torturous cage in which we either cling to the fleeting now or suffer under the control of the future. Marcus Aurelius. His counsel is to embrace the current moment and live it to the fullest. He counseled us not to allow the circumstances of the moment control our feelings, even if we hold on to what we have or dislike what is happening. He held that we have no control over how the world turns out, but we can control how we respond. Even while we have no control over outside events, we do have power over how we respond to them. Let's say you had a challenging upbringing marked by many challenges and misfortunes. It could be simple to write off your past as a string of unfortunate events. Marcus Aurelius's philosophy, however, holds that it is crucial to avoid classifying these occurrences as tragedies, but the way you decide to respond to them. He held the opinion that if you do not see actual occurrences as tragedies, they will not do you any harm. It all comes down to perspective. Rather than lingering on the difficulties of the past, consider how these experiences have strengthened and shaped you. You are supporting the Stoic philosophy by doing this, embracing your limitations and developing inner fortitude in the here and now. The natural laws served as Marcus Aurelius's guiding. He would become a deserter and flee from what he should balance with if he rebelled against nature or felt hate or grief for it. Let's say you are dealing with a scenario in your personal life that is rather difficult. You are depressed and hopeless after losing a significant relationship. You can tackle this problem in the following way, in accordance with Stoic philosophy. Initially, acknowledge the circumstances and acknowledge that ending the relationship is an inevitable element of life beyond your complete control. It matters how you respond to it. Second, give yourself credit. Rather of feeling depressed or guilty about yourself, focus on growing as a person and establishing your internal value. Third, develop and learn. See the breakup of the relationship as a chance to improve and learn. What lessons can you learn from this experience, and how can you strengthen yourself? Fourthly, be present-oriented. Spend less time dwelling on the past or anticipating the future. Pay attention to the here and now and engage in activities that make you happy. Fifth, establish a communal connection. Try reaching out to friends or the community if you're feeling lonely, so you may express your feelings and look for support. Sixth, handle your feelings. Instead of allowing your emotions to rule you, learn how to regulate and control them. The art of living is not about the wonderful, unlucky external conditions we experience, as they are erratic, changeable, and unstable. It concerns our responses to the things that happen to us. It is the thing that ought to concern us. Retain it. Try to stay in the now, no matter what challenges you are facing. Start with something that is easily accessible to you. Just get going. Look not upon others. Keep your eyes off the future. Stay away from the past. Take note of what's directly in front of you, and just get going. I wish you luck in getting the good things you want out of life. Recall that although your motivation may occasionally wane, you should always be tenacious and consistent in all that you do. I want to tell you a fascinating tale before we go out about how Marcus Aurelius fundamentally altered the life of a man named John. Although John is a young, energetic man, he always faces pressure and stress in his life. He works for a big corporation every day, and during those trying times he consistently feels exhausted and uninspired. John started learning about Marcus Aurelius's ideas on leading a purposeful life and working with a moral soul. John was deeply moved by Marcus Aurelius's remarks. He started delving deeper into the idea of Stoicism and incorporated it into his daily routine. He gains greater skills in handling pressure, handling work, managing stress, and concentrating on what matters most in life. Regards, Marcus Aurelius. John's life took a radical turn. He is now more content, self-assured, and capable of handling any obstacle. His life is no longer as stressful as it once was, and he has noticed a significant shift in his spirituality and way of thinking. Recall that life is an endless trip and that there are priceless moments that have the power to drastically alter our course. Through Marcus Aurelius's reflections, we are exposed to deep ideas about happiness, achievement, and life. This article provides insightful advice and insight from one of history's greatest philosophers. It's time to breathe new vitality into your existence. Please enjoy this video for a moment. A portal to a world of fresh insights and learning. We firmly think that you will discover profound knowledge and inspiration from these genuine moments. Please feel free to like and share this video with everyone you know if it has touched you. Together, we can build a community rich in knowledge and life experiences, since every share you make opens up a new universe. Come along with us on this YouTube channel, where each video offers a fresh experience and a wealth of knowledge and inspiration. If you subscribe to our channel, you'll never miss a thrilling expedition. We appreciate your participation in this adventure and look forward to sharing more magic with you in the future. See you in the next videos. Goodbye.